mighty companions.
Namaste y bienvenidos, amados, poderosos compañeros.
Okay, this is going to be like a wild trip with Jesus. Are we ready to go? Let's do it.
Entonces, esto va a ser como un viaje salvaje con Jesús.
But to see that we're more powerful than any of these things that are showing up in consciousness, for sure.
Y darnos cuenta que somos más poderosos que las cosas que surjan en la conciencia.
That the
De
only
seguro.
the addiction to rage, subconscious rage, that's what we want to clear.
La adicción a la rabia subconsciente.
Okay, so in these sessions, we practice honesty of God.
Y en estas sesiones practicamos la honestidad de Dios.
It's deep inner looking so that our answers come out of wholeness, the truth of what we are.
Y las respuestas vienen de la verdad de lo que somos.
We listen for the voice for God to show us in our willingness where we're saying no to God.
Y entonces preguntamos dónde le estamos diciendo no a Dios.
And so we can do a check-in, first of all, to
Y así
ask,
que podemos hacer una revisión primero.
to ask Jesus to guide us in seeing everything clearly and no longer being in self-deception.
Y pedirle a Jesús que nos guíe y no nos deje engañar más.
So honesty of God is a radical self-honesty. I'm going to be honest with myself at where I'm denying myself divinity.
Y entonces la honestidad de Dios es radical porque preguntamos dónde estoy negando mi divinidad.
So when we do that deep listening with Jesus, he's going to respond. If you ask him, Jesus, do I have a desire hidden in my subconscious mind to experience rage? Yes or no?
Entonces, si nosotros vamos profundo a la mente subconsciente y le preguntamos a Jesús si tenemos el deseo de una experiencia de rabia y le preguntamos si sí o no. Yes.
See, that's beautiful. That's honesty of God, to admit what he's showing you. It's so holy.
Es muy santo admitir lo que Él nos está mostrando.
It's very holy to be shown where we're saying no to ourselves, because then we can see, one, that we're choosing it, and two, we no longer need to choose that.
Y entonces es muy útil ver y muy importante ver con la honestidad de Dios y mirar dónde estamos escogiendo eso, esa rabia.
So Jesus tells us in A Course in Miracles that the world is miscreation in rage. It flows out of rage.
Y Jesús nos dice en el curso de milagros que el mundo ha sido creado de rabia.
So go ahead, ask him, Jesus, because you can check in with him on everything I say. That
Porque
is
ustedes
really...
pueden chequear con Jesús cada vez que digo algo, si es cierto o no con él.
Remember, he says, I'm going to tell you everything you need to know.
Porque recuerden que él nos dice que nos va a decir todo lo que necesitamos saber.
And if there's rage lurking in the subconscious mind somewhere, would that be a good thing to see?
Y si hay rabia en nuestra mente subconsciente, es algo muy útil de ver.
So in rage, we're going to talk about tonight is not the idea. Yes, it can display in consciousness, like hopping up and down, really mad and throwing chairs.
Y vamos a mirar que can you say it again, because it was cut?
You know, rage can display in a variety of ways in consciousness. We're most familiar with if you blow up and kill someone or you throw some chairs around.
Entonces la rabia surge de diferentes formas y puede ser que quieras matar a alguien o que simplemente o que quieras lanzar las sillas, lanzarles una silla.
But it displays, like, if you don't follow guidance, that is keeping rage.
Pero no muestra que si mantenerla, no seguir la guía es querer mantener la rabia.
So rage is an expression of the desire for an experience other than
all that's given by God. Entonces la rabia es la expresión del deseo de no aceptar todo lo que ha sido dado por Dios.
Now, the only thing that's given by God is supreme happiness, period.
Y porque lo único que Dios nos da es suprema felicidad.
Okay, check that out with Jesus. Ask him, Jesus, you can
Pregúntenle,
hear.
entonces, ustedes lo pueden escuchar.
We know that these light circles are about joining to hear and tune into the voice for God.
Estos círculos son para escuchar y para alinearnos con Dios.
Which is the symbol of your voice for wholeness, of totality within, the memory of your true identity.
Porque es el símbolo de todo lo que es. Jesús es el símbolo y de nuestra divinidad.
And it's helpful to have Jesus show you how much rage it takes not to talk with him.
Y hay que mirar con Jesús cuánta rabia se genera de no querer hablar con él.
You know, it gets funnier because you see how ridiculous it is not to talk to the voice for God within you.
Y se vuelve muy ridículo y chistoso ver cuánto no queremos hablar con la voz de Dios en nuestro interior.
So the only way the world can end in happy laughter is when you talk to Jesus. See, so he can show you how it's going to end.
Porque la forma como el mundo acaba en una sonrisa feliz es escuchando a Jesús.
Like he's trying to bring the good news to us. Look, you are as God made you.
Porque Él te trae la buena nueva de que eres tal como Dios te creó.
So here's a good honesty of God question. Go inside and say, Jesus, am I willing to see that I am as God made me? Am I willing to see that in full?
Y entonces una buena pregunta es preguntarle a Jesús, ¿estoy dispuesto a ver completamente que soy tal como Dios me creó?
See, at least if he tells you no, you can see that there's a denial there that's just ripe for a miracle.
Y entonces, si él te dice que no, simplemente es la oportunidad de darte cuenta que hay un milagro esperando.
Remembering that what Jesus' function is in our willingness is to show us where we do not want miracles.
Y recuerden que la función de Jesús es en nuestra voluntad mostrarnos dónde no queremos los milagros.
So he's the one that introduces us to all the places in the mind where we want to say no to God.
Porque Él es el que nos va a introducir en los lugares de la mente donde le queremos decir no a Dios.
And then the ego plays a little game called Jesus is going to make me do something I don't want to do.
Y el ego juega el juego de Jesús me va a hacer algo que yo no quiero hacer.
So we were just reminded that is not Jesus's voice. That's not the voice for wholeness. That's the voice, the ego, not wanting to see the truth.
Y recordemos que esa no es la voz de Jesús, que esa es la voz del ego diciéndonos que no veamos la verdad.
Because the ego's sneaky and it knows if you do what Jesus asked you to do, it's only so you're going to see you are as God made you.
Porque el ego es tramposo y sabe que si nosotros hacemos lo que Jesús nos dice, Jesús nos va a mostrar que somos tal como Dios nos creó.
So Jesus is going to use doing to undo the idea of doing.
Y Jesús va a usar la idea de hacer para mostrarnos el deshacerse.
So if you've seen the little dream bubble, the crazy dream bubble diagram, and if you need it, you can text us, we'll send it to you.
Entonces vamos a mirar el gráfico de la burbuja loca y si alguien la quiere nos puede mandar un mensaje de texto.
But basically it starts with light, infinite light.
Y siempre comenzamos con la luz infinita.
And then a little idea, a little desire for something other than light arises.
Y entonces luego aparece un pensamiento de say again, Kate, sorry.
a desire, the tiny
Ok.
mad idea arises.
Entonces luego la pequeña locada idea surge como un deseo.
It's a desire to dream of something other than God. And so you get this dream bubble.
Y entonces este es el deseo de soñar algo diferente de Dios. Por eso lo llamamos la burbuja del sueño.
So it's a desire, it's choice. I'm choosing a dream experience.
Y es una experiencia, o sea, es una opción, una elección. Estoy
But
eligiendo soñar.
so consciousness is always whole. So consciousness is the expression of the desire, experience of desire, something other than God.
Porque la conciencia es la expresión de un deseo diferente de Dios.
So to hide from itself, it fragments into billions of pieces, little parts and pieces that it buries, tries to hide in the subconscious mind.
Y entonces dividirse en la mente subconsciente y tratar de esconderse.
And this is really very timely why the course came through Helen and Bill.
Y por eso es que este curso llegó a través de Helen y Bill.
Because Freud's, Jesus is saying, he's not right about everything, but he could help us with the dialogue to talk about the concept of his subconscious mind.
Porque de alguna manera Freud nos habló como del concepto de la mente subconsciente.
The challenge with modern psychology and psychotherapy is that there's a strong belief that the subconscious mind is real.
Lo que trabaja la psicoterapia es el creer que la mente subconsciente es real, que la mente es real.
So consciousness, you could call it this, and Jesus talks about how it blows out into the subconscious mind and superconsciousness and consciousness.
Y entonces ver cómo con Jesús cómo esta mente se divide en la mente subconsciente, en la bueno, which one is conscience, unconscious?
There's you could call it three parts. These are symbolic, okay? Three parts.
Es simbólico, pero lo podemos llamar en tres partes.
Superconsciousness.
La superconciencia.
The part of consciousness you allow yourself to be aware of.
La conciencia que parece estar despierta.
And then the subconscious mind, the things you're hiding from yourself.
Y la mente subconsciente, que es la que estás ocultando de ti mismo.
The main thing you're hiding that you chose an experience not to be holy.
Y lo que estás ocultando es el deseo de no ser santo.
So remember, the ego's always going, well, I wouldn't choose this. But when you get down there and see it, that's where the happiness is. That's why you want to go down with Jesus into the subconscious mind.
Y porque el ego va a llegar aquí con este ruido, pero si vas profundamente con Jesús, te va a mostrar dónde está la suprema felicidad.
So you could call miracles the solvent of the subconscious mind.
Y podemos llamar los milagros, call miracles what? Okay.
The solvent of the subconscious mind.
El solucionador de la mente subconsciente.
Okay, the choice to see that it's not valuable to have all the asteroid belt of hell below the level of awareness.
Y ver que no es útil mantener este cinturón de asteroides del infierno.
So rage is the display of the denial of divinity.
Entonces la rabia es el despliegue de la negación de la divinidad.
See, it's protecting. Every time the play of that subconscious mind is every time we seem to get close, it's going to throw, like Muji says, stones in the bush. Look over here. Don't look over here.
Y cuando queremos ver, él va a querer lanzar piedras en el bosque para, no mires ahí, no mires ahí, como distraernos.
To not see that it takes a tremendous amount of rage to keep the play going and the dream, it's the dream engine.
Y porque exige mucha rabia mantener el sueño y es como la gasolina de esto.
But it is not more powerful than you are. You're infinite light of being.
Pero tú eres más poderoso que eso, eres un ser infinito.
So the only way so Jesus leads us back to unification of consciousness by releasing from the subconscious mind all those little fragments that are little, they're like little rage markers.
Porque Jesús nos va a ayudar a liberar todos estos fragmentos de rabia como estas marcas de la rabia que tenemos en la mente subconsciente.
But if you are lost in some kind of catacomb below in Jerusalem, where all these people were buried and it's got all these little pockets in it, you'd want a guide to get you out of there.
Y entonces si tenemos todos estos como hoyos como catacumbas en la mente, vamos a querer la persona que nos va a ayudar a salir de ahí.
Like we're down there with this little dim candle going, no, thank you, Jesus. I can bond my way out. No, you can't.
Y no va a ser como, mira, no, Jesús, yo sé cómo encontrar la vía de salida.
In fact, within the delusion plays like this. I'm fine. Everything's wonderful.
Porque la ilusión juega así, no, yo estoy bien, yo estoy maravilloso.
But I just don't understand why I have all this pain and this suffering and all these emotional moods and these swings.
Pero yo no sé por qué estoy teniendo estas emociones y este dolor y todo esto que está surgiendo.
Because of all the subconscious content that has not been released and brought into awareness.
Porque no has liberado todo esto que está en la mente subconsciente, no lo has traído a la conciencia.
For complete unification of consciousness so that there's not this constant, quote unquote, separation on anxiety.
Y para ver que la conciencia que no hay toda esta, que hay esta ansiedad y que no hay la separación.
The unhealed mind is a very anxious state. It's always anxious.
Porque la mente no sanada es muy ansiosa.
It's always searching.
Ansiosa.
It searches in objects and form to try to to find salvation.
Porque está tratando de buscar en la forma de la salvación.
That's an expression of rage.
Y eso es una expresión de rabia.
Okay, all these things you see, ask them. Let's all listen to Jesus. Obsessive compulsive play. Is that rage hidden?
Entonces, recuerden que todos pueden escuchar, pregunten. Los compulsive, what? Say it again.
Is obsessive compulsive behavior, is that an expression of rage?
Hay los obsessive, como comportamientos obsesivos. Comportamientos obsesivos es una demostración de la rabia.
No es así.
Okay. Most displays of anxiousness, anger, fear, all those things are displays that arise out of rage.
Y estos son como despliegues de la rabia, de ansiedad, de la rabia, de todo esto.
But the play is so strong, the play to be fearful of God, that something horrible, we did something horrible that's permanent. We need Jesus to make it gentle, to follow him, to release this it's like steam out of a kettle with miracles.
Porque el miedo a Dios es muy fuerte y por eso necesitamos a Jesús para que nos saque esto de las catacumbas de la mente.
When we admit how powerful we are, that we made the miscreation, and then therefore we no longer need to choose it.
Pero cuando nos damos cuenta que somos muy poderosos y que hemos hecho fabricado esta creación falsa, em, es- eh, podemos simplemente dejar de elegirlo.
And that's what the light circles are for. It's light trainings to deeply begin to listen to the voice, be coached by the voice to miracles, and speak the voice.
Y eso es el entrenamiento de los círculos de luz porque es para escuchar la voz y hablar esa voz.
It is for the direct experience that every line in A Course in Miracles is true.
Es una demostración de que todo lo que Jesús dice en el curso de milagros es verdad.
If you follow Jesus and learn how to be coached by him directly, you will discover that every single line in A Course in Miracles is true by your direct experience.
Y entonces si escuchamos y seguimos a Jesús, vamos a ver por experiencia directa que todo lo que él ha dicho en el curso es verdad.
But the ego doesn't want to look and turn directly in to see how much the rage experience is relished.
Pero el ego no quiere ver cuánto disfrutamos la experiencia de rabia.
So Jesus leads one thing at a time to look down there and look into the subconscious mind to see where all these desires to deny divinity are cherished.
Entonces Jesús toma un tema y nos lleva de profundo en la mente consciente para ver dónde estamos deseando profundamente, anhelando esta experiencia, este deseo.
It's the beloved. See, the hell is the beloved below the level of awareness.
Debajo del nivel de conciencia, el infierno es amado.
It's the secret prayer for an experience for something other than all given by the Father.
Es nuestra oración secreta para negar todo lo que ha sido dado por el Padre.
So he's giving the invitation to have a direct experience, speak to me.
Y Él nos está haciendo la invitación directa de que le hablemos a Él.
He's telling you directly, you do not even know what rage is.
Porque Él nos está diciendo, tú ni siquiera sabes qué es la rabia.
So he's saying, you must rely on me. You must rely on me.
Y Él dice, tú tienes que confiar en mí, tú tienes que confiar en mí.
He's saying, you are so afraid of what you made. See,
Porque tú estás muy miedoso de lo que has fabricado.
we pretend like we're afraid of Jesus, but what we're really afraid of what we made and that we have no control over it, that it's going to do something bad to us, which we want.
Y no es, nos muestra que no es que le tengamos miedo a Jesús, tenemos miedo a lo que creímos haber fabricado y de lo que pueda hacer eso en contra nuestra.
There's a couple of thumbs up here. When you see
Ve, aquí hay unos dedos hacia arriba.
the ego is going to fight tooth and nail not to see this, but when you see it, you're going to laugh.
Y el ego va a pelear para que no veas, pero cuando lo veas te vas a reír.
But it takes a deep amount of trust in a relationship with Jesus, so that he knows the steps to take.
Pero se requiere mucha confianza y porque él sabe los pasos que debemos seguir.
As I've said many times, there is nothing in this world that can stop you from hearing that voice other than you.
Y porque él dice, no hay nada en este mundo que te pueda detener a escuchar esa voz, excepto tú mismo.
Because it's your natural voice that you're saying no to. So as soon as you start saying yes, you'll see he's been yabbering to you all along.
Y entonces, porque es tu voz natural. Y cuando comienzas a decirle sí, todo se abre.
See, but that's selective because the relishing of rage. We're selective. Ask him, Jesus, do I love rage? Ask him.
Le podemos preguntar a Jesús, porque somos selectivos, entonces tenemos que preguntarle a Jesús. What we have to ask?
Do I relish rage more than God? Do I like it more than God, rage?
Entonces, Jesús, ¿amo más la rabia que a Dios?
Okay, go ahead, ask him. Let's go for it. We're going on to see
Bueno, vamos
God.
a preguntar entonces, vamos a preguntarle a Dios.
See, we got a few votes over here. Okay.
Es que aquí escuchamos que sí.
But see, until you see that and allow yourself for the voice for wholeness within to show you in your mind what you value more than God, you cannot be at peace.
Y hasta que no permitas que la voz que habla por Dios te diga dónde valoras esto más que a Dios, no vas a poder estar en paz.
So every time we don't follow, we are keeping a rage.
Y cada
And
vez que
guilt.
nos seguimos, estamos manteniendo la rabia y la culpa.
Jesus, ask him, Jesus. So every time I'm not following you, I'm trying to punish myself. Is that true? Ask him.
Pregúntele, Jesús, cada vez que no te sigo, ¿estoy autocastigándome?
See, the whole point is to see, they get some seed here. But that's honesty of God. You want to see that. If that's down there, you want to know it.
Y eso es honestidad de Dios, porque si está por allá abajo en la mente subconsciente, la vas a ver.
You want to see the truth, or you wouldn't be
Porque
here.
tú quieres escuchar la verdad.
The ego's going to run from this conversation.
Porque el ego va a salir corriendo de esta conversación.
No, but you carry the firepower of God with you.
Pero tú tienes el poder de Dios.
That's all he's going to show you is how powerful you are. That's it. Done. Done.
Y porque eso es lo que él te va a mostrar, todo
like,
lo poderoso que eres. Y punto.
But at first, it's helpful to have a conversation with him about why you're afraid to talk to him. See?
Y lo primero que puedes hacer es hablar con él. ¿Por qué estás tan miedoso de hablar con Jesús?
You know, as soon as I realized, boy, the more I realized I had gotten myself in a big mess, the more I wanted to talk to him.
Y entre más me doy cuenta que he hecho un desastre en mi vida, más quiero hablar con él.
Like that, once I knew there is no way out of this little maze without his help, 100%.
Yo decía, no puedo salir de este laberinto a menos de que sea con su ayuda.
He's saying, I'm just trying to have a little conversation here. Do not underestimate, he says, do not underestimate how much you really love rage below your level of awareness, keeping it there.
Y me dice que no subestimemos cuánto amamos mantener la culpa en nuestra mente.
We call it the beast. The beast.
Nosotros la llamamos la bestia.
See, the ego is going to go like that. You know, it plays this little game called "It's Not That Bad."
Y el ego juega el juego de no es tan malo.
Okay, you know, it's not too bad. My life's really pretty good. It plays that game to keep you from following guidance.
Y es el juego de no es tan malo. Mi vida no es tan mala. Y es para seguir manteniendo la rabia.
Because it's such an addiction to pleasure and pain. It loves it. You'll see it. Go down with them. Let them show you, Jesus, am I addicted to pleasure, which is the same as pain? Do I like them both more than God?
Entonces vamos a la mente subconsciente y le preguntamos a Jesús, amo más el placer y la culpa que a Dios.
Sí. The joy of miracle mindedness, really grokking that.
El gozo de la mente milagrosa es poderoso.
You know, it's just a celebration.
Es una celebración.
It's like, I'm going to be bored, or Jesus is going to make me do what I don't want to do. No.
Y no es, va a ser aburrido o Jesús me va a hacer algo que yo no quiera hacer.
But that's why he brings us together. He says, you will not go on alone. So you just hang on to those mighty companions as he gives them to you, and you hang on as long as he says, so you can go all the way to see that it's true.
Pero entonces tú no estás solo en esto, tienes estos poderosos compañeros que son un regalo para que vayas todo el camino y
See,
mires.
anything other than the truth. So I need to get another camera set up so you can see. They're all cheering here.
Todos están aquí compartiendo.
At first, you're not really cheering because it doesn't seem like a good deal he's given.
Say it again, Kay.
I said sometimes it's not funny and you're not cheering at first because the ego's so mad that you're even looking.
Porque en un principio no es tan divertido porque al ego no le gusta que miremos.
Jesus, the beast wants to kill you that's down there.
Jesús, la bestia te va a querer. Who says that? Jesus?
Jesus said the ego wants to kill you. Look at
Jesús nos dice, el ego te va a querer matar.
Okay, so here's where the deep honesty, look, we look directly in this group. We know it, look.
Y miremos la honestidad de Dios. Somos muy honestos en este grupo.
You know, you have to be determined to see. He's not kidding about that.
Y él no está haciendo chiste en esto porque él dice que tenemos que estar muy dispuestos a ver.
You know, we say a couple of things around here, and two of them are, you get determined to see the truth.
Tienes que estar determinado a ver.
No matter what it takes, I'm going to see the truth. I'm going to see if this Course in Miracles is true.
Y no importa que voy a mirar que lo que dice el curso es verdad.
And I'm going to get my miracle on everything Jesus shows me.
Y voy a lograr mi milagro en todo lo que Jesús nos muestre.
It will free your mind so much when you make that decision in your mind. Just, I'm getting my miracles and I'm going to give it to me, Jesus.
Entonces, se siente mucha libertad en la mente cuando decimos, voy a ver y voy por mi milagro.
At first, after saying that, I could feel myself trying to backpedal out, you know?
Y luego me doy cuenta que como que quiero pedalear hacia atrás.
But after a while, man, I was just going, I don't care what it takes. That's it, you know?
Pero después de un tiempo dices, no, simplemente no me importa lo que me tome, lo voy a hacer.
And you just get happier and happier. So you gotta join with your mighties. You gotta join with Jesus. This is the way out. He's gonna coach you.
Y luego se vuelve más feliz y más feliz porque con tu compañero y con Jesús esa es la salida, es el camino de salida.
So hold on to his hand right now and say, okay, show me Jesus.
Entonces nos cogemos de su mano y le decimos, okay, Jesús, muéstrame.
I am determined to see.
Estoy determinada a ver.
Do I love rage in my subconscious mind?
¿Amo la rabia en mi mente subconsciente?
Yes or no?
¿Sí o no?
Okay. So this is how the specific you want to get with him on the yes, no, that he can show you anything and you don't judge it, just go, oh, okay.
Y esto es en donde vamos a entrar específicamente con él, en el sí y no, y sin juzgarlo. Simplemente se dice sí o no y no pasa nada.
So you get the yes and just watch how the ego is going to come in and start. It's like the Armageddon mushroom cloud of ego interpretation of what it means to have rage. And it comes up with all the little storylines.
Entonces el ego va a armar como un Armagedón de esto y va a comenzar a mira qué significa la rabia y todo este ruido.
But look, we're on to it. So what we're going to do instead is go, no, Jesus, you show me. I'm not interpreting anything. You're going to show me the desire can you help me? I'm willing to see this fully, the desire for the experience of whatever it is, rage or whatever assignment he gives you.
Cualquier deseo que él te asigne, simplemente le vas a decir no a este ruido y le vas a decir, sé tú, Jesús, quien me muestra, muéstrame.
So our function is curiosity and willingness to be shown. That's it. Done. Job over.
Y eso es nuestro trabajo, curiosidad y que para que él nos muestre.
It is not our job to interpret. It's his interpretation. Remember, he says it in a course.
Y eso lo dice Jesús en el curso. No es tu tarea interpretar, es la tarea de él.
And so then you want to just hang there in the desire and let the desire express. He'll show it to you. Show it to me. You'll see how much you relish and love it, love it, love it, love it.
Y dejar que Jesús te muestre cuánto lo disfrutas, cuánto lo amas, lo amas.
You'll see the devil dancing there. You might realize that, God, I get a lot of pleasure out of rage.
Y luego ver la danza del diablo y ver todo lo que nos encanta la rabia.
Remember, don't judge any of it. Just see it. The hard part of this is letting the ego come in and get involved in the atonement.
Y la parte difícil de esto es que el ego se quiere involucrar en esto y ser parte de la expiación.
No, you're Jesus in the desert, and the ego shows up saying, no, I'm listening. I have one voice to listen to.
Y tú eres como Jesús en el desierto. Le dices no y simplemente voy a escuchar una voz. Que es
And he'll show you all kinds of stuff. Everything that he says in the course, he's going to show it to you. It's wonderful.
Y él mismo te va a mostrar cada cosa de la que dice en el curso.
Your job isn't just to be willing. Okay, go ahead and show me. So let me see if I'm right, Jesus. So I'm actually getting some deep pleasure out of this experience of rage. Is that correct?
Y entonces nuestro trabajo es decirle que nos muestre este disfrute y decirle, en verdad me encanta esto, sí.
And you want to go down with them until you see the little golem down there going, oh, this is really yummy.
Y entonces ir y encontrar a ese golem y darnos cuenta de lo delicioso que esto es.
See, here's where the ego gets involved in this, where you have to say no to it.
Y mirar cómo el ego se quiere involucrar en esto, pero tú le tienes que decir que no.
Okay, it's the faster you let him show you stuff, the faster you're going to transcend hell, for sure.
Y entre más rápido le permitas a él que te muestre, más rápido te vas a liberar del infierno, por seguro.
But you got to develop the relationship so that when he shows you a desire, you are willing to let him show it to you fully, all the way to the basement. No more of that desire left in the subconscious mind. You accept the full miracle for that experience.
Y si tú permites que él te muestre todo lo que hay en el sótano, vas a estar dispuesto a aceptar el milagro.
So just get really determined. I'm getting my miracle. If he's showing me this, I'm going to see this all the way.
Y es estar determinado a lograr el milagro y decirle a Jesús, muéstrame todo el camino.
Whatever he's going to show me, I'm going to look.
Cualquier cosa que él quiera mirar, la voy a ver.
So all the torture, all the pain, all the fear comes from not looking, being willing to see what's true.
Y toda la tortura y el dolor viene de no querer ver lo que es verdad.
And not looking at it neutrally. Jesus is not judging you. You just keep your own judgment of yourself out of it. It's not your business.
Y entonces es no querer ver con Jesús de una manera neutral y tratar de juzgarse. Pero ese no es tu asunto.
When the mind locks down and you decide that you're going to release these things from your mind, there's nothing that keeps them in there.
Pero si está la determinación de que vas a liberarlo, no hay nada que te detenga.
It was the greatest gift when I heard him tell me, you're tolerating this.
Y fue un gran regalo cuando él me dijo que yo estaba tolerando eso.
That's what he's saying to all of us in A Course in Miracles, but it's really helpful when you get that direct instruction from the one who knows you are tolerating this.
Y eso lo dice él en el curso de milagros para todos, pero es muy interesante cuando él te lo dice directamente por entrenamiento directo.
But then that's the clue that I also don't need to tolerate it and can say no.
Y esa es la clave, porque no necesito tolerarlo.
See, you're tolerating your interpretation. When you don't tolerate that, you're on the way to the resurrection.
Y porque tú estás tolerando tu interpretación, pero cuando no admites más, esa es tu resurrección.
See, there's either Jesus's interpretation of the crucifixion or our interpretation of the crucifixion.
¿Es la interpretación de Jesús de la crucifixión o es nuestra interpretación?
And you can ask him 100%. He was not interpreting, therefore he was happy.
Y por eso él no, preguntémosle, él no interpretó lo de la crucifixión y por eso estaba feliz.
Oh my God, there's just so happiness seeing that.
Y se siente mucha felicidad ver esto.
All he's showing us is the power of the mind. We don't have to make this stuff real and keep the suffering.
Y todo lo que nos muestra es el poder de la mente y el de no querer hacer esto real.
So you can ask him, Jesus, is it abject rage not to accept the correction quickly?
Y entonces toda esta ansiedad y esta rabia es no querer aceptar la expiación, el milagro rápidamente.
See, rage can never overpower a miracle. What are we thinking?
Porque la rabia no puede sobrepasar al milagro. ¿Qué estamos pensando?
A miracle is simply the decision to cease to value the valueless, to cease to value rage and pain and suffering and not value it.
Porque el milagro es dejar de valorar lo que no tiene valor. La rabia, todo esto.
I'm just talking to him to see if you really have to get ticked off to actually, do you have to, no, you don't have to experience rage. You can you can accept a miracle right on the desire, but the play is to fight so hard to keep that hidden.
Entonces dice que podemos simplemente obtener el milagro sin necesidad de I'll get lost, sorry, Kate.
He's
Can you
keeping
say
that
it?
hidden.
Porque queremos mantener la rabia oculta. Por eso no obtenemos el milagro. Es la conclusión.
Well, it hides the power we have to change our mind at any time, for sure.
Pero lo bueno es que podemos cambiar nuestra mentalidad en cualquier momento, de seguro.
It makes the experience that the order of difficulty of miracles, one miracle is harder than another miracle.
Y ver que no hay orden de dificultad en los milagros, que no hay un milagro más difícil que otro.
See, the healing comes when we no longer are willing to differentiate miracles and see them all the same.
Es ver que no hay diferencia y que todos son lo mismo.
That it's always a decision in the mind to cease to value the valueless.
Que es el deseo en la mente de no valorar más lo que no es valioso.
That's the only thing he's going to show you is how powerful you are.
Porque la única cosa que te va a mostrar es lo poderoso que eres.
That you have all the power granted you by the Father.
Y que tú tienes todo el poder garantizado por el Padre. Tú tienes dominio.
That there's nothing outside you that makes you feel something. It's always an inside job.
Que no hay nada afuera que te esté haciendo sentir algo, simplemente que es un trabajo interno.
So it's important to see that the anger, that's why he says anger is never justified.
Y
Never.
por eso él dice que la rabia y no está justificada.
It is 100% all the time. It can be a real opportunity to look under it and see what it's protecting, not to see. You can go right under anger and go, what's that protecting?
Y vamos entonces a mirar qué es la rabia está tratando de proteger.
It is always, without exception, protecting a piece of personal identity.
Y sin excepciones, lo que está protegiendo es una parte de la identidad personal.
It's protecting the desire for rage.
Es protegiendo el deseo de la rabia.
It's protecting weakness, the belief in weakness.
Es proteger el deseo de la debilidad.
It's actually self-punishment. He's saying it's really self-punishment. I can see that.
Y él dice que esto es autocastigo y lo puedo ver.
So rage is the desire for self-punishment.
Y la rabia es el deseo del autocastigo.
See, every time we don't follow him,
Y cada
On-
vez que no lo seguimos a él,
every time it's an expression of rage to keep the
es
dreaming
una
machine.
expresión de la rabia para mantener el sueño.
That's why he doesn't come in there and say, okay, you can follow me on some things, but not others.
Por eso él no viene y dice, bueno, está bien, tú puedes seguirme en unas cosas, pero no en otras.
I will make no decisions by myself.
No tomaré decisiones por mi cuenta.
No decisions, zero decisions by myself.
0 decisiones por mi cuenta.
Because we like the decision to deny divinity so much, that's the addiction.
Porque es una adicción negar la divinidad.
You know, because beings have asked me, well, you're asking them everything. I ask them, can I have this cookie? I ask them everything.
Yo le pregunto sobre todo, le pregunto, ¿me puedo comer esta galleta?
Look, after that's a direct trip to heaven right there.
Y eso es un viaje directo al cielo.
See, at first the ego objects to that.
Y en un principio el ego va a objetar eso.
But it's a reminder of all that we are. See, that's why we don't want to talk to Jesus. We don't want to be reminded of all that we are.
Porque es un recuerdo de todo lo que somos y por eso no queremos hablar con Jesús, porque es un recuerdo de lo que somos.
But as the mind purifies, first you get these little love hits when you're talking to him, and then it's infinite. It's celebration.
Es una pequeña purificación, porque luego es la celebración de lo que es.
It's communion.
Es
It's the
comunión.
host of hosts.
¿De what?
It's a host of hosts.
Como es el huésped de todo. No, sorry.
It is communion. So he's takes the communion is that's all God does is communion. That's his thing.
Porque todo lo que da Dios es comunión.
It's just giving and receiving is one. It's like the one, all it does is celebrate itself. The ego goes, God, that's boring.
Y porque el dar y el recibir es lo mismo y es la celebración del todo. Y el ego va a decir, no, eso es muy aburrido.
That love's not of this world. It doesn't know this world, actually.
Y es un amor que no es de este mundo. De hecho, no sabe qué es este mundo.
But he's teaching that by continually staying in communication with him until you see there isn't anything worth having other than Holy Communion as given by God, all that you are.
Y lo que nos está enseñando es que es todo lo que es.
See, following him.
Follow what? Sorry.
Following him is taking Holy Communion all day.
Y seguirlo a él es estar en comunión todo el día con él.
That's why the ego doesn't want. That's why the
Y
ego
eso es lo que
doesn't
no
want to do
quiere
it.
quiero hacer.
I want to do my own thing so I can keep rage alive in my mind.
Entonces, yo quiero hacer lo que yo quiero para poder mantener la rabia en mi mente.
And then have some kind of horrible death experience, people and suffer and have illness and all that thing.
Y luego tener experiencias de muerte, de sufrimiento y de dolor.
So there's really only one question to ask when you see something or
Y entonces hay una sola pregunta que hacer cuando vemos algo.
that seems informed, that's changed, or I've changed my mind. The only one that's going to be able to tell you that is this one.
Y lo único el único que puede decirnos si queremos cambiar nuestra mentalidad es el de arriba.
Jesus, has the healing fully occurred, yes or no?
Entonces le preguntamos, Jesús, ¿la sanación ha ocurrido completamente, sí o no?
So when the mind becomes dedicated to that one thing, knowing the truth,
Y cuando la mente se dedica a ver la verdad
without exception,
sin excepciones,
so that means 100% following and 100%
y eso
let
quiere
him
decir
show everything.
100% escucharlo y 100% seguirlo.
That's when the real healing begins. That's when the celebration begins. Well, not at
Ahí es
first,
cuando la celebración comienza.
because there's still a lot to see. The
Porque hay mucho
fragmentation,
por ver, porque hay mucha
you know,
fragmentación.
when he says, this is my experience, when he said, you got to be determined to see, you got to be determined to see.
Cuando Jesús dice, tú tienes que estar determinado a ver, tú tienes que estar determinado a ver.
Because the determination to have a dream bubble, the play is to be more determined to experience fear and suffering, and God is dead and God's after me, and Jesus is coming to get me. The desire is stronger than that.
Porque el ego es todo este deseo de Dios, Jesús me va a castigar, Dios me va a eliminar, en fin.
So that's why the single-pointed desire for God and his kingdom is so important.
Por eso la importancia de que solo haya un deseo, el deseo de Dios y su reino. Por eso es tan importante.
So all miracles, all change of mind occurs at the level of desire, because desire is the decision for something other than holiness.
Porque todos los milagros ocurren al nivel del deseo, porque say again, Kay.
Miracles occur at the level of desire because desire is the desire for something other than holiness. And so
porque los deseos son el deseo de algo diferente a lo que es.
So healing occurs at the level of desire.
Así que la sanación ocurre al nivel de del deseo.
So what Jesus does is the way consciousness heals is to turn to make the single-pointed desire for God in his kingdom.
Y entonces lo que Jesús hace es que nos apuntemos solo a un deseo, al deseo de Dios y su reino.
So all the energetics that were before going into all these desired experience shifts in consciousness to focus on finding the truth.
Y entonces todos estos deseos que estaban en la mente se focaliza solo a un deseo, encontrar la verdad.
And this, I'm asking him, this is valuable. It's greatly valuable.
Y estoy preguntando, ¿esto es grandemente valioso?
And then someone asked me about, well, if miracles occur, miracles can't occur at the level of desire, because what about the desire for God and his kingdom?
Porque alguien me preguntó, los milagros no pueden ocurrir al nivel del deseo, porque ¿qué pasa con el deseo de Dios y su reino?
It's a valuable vehicle for that sleigh ride home.
Pero eso es un vehículo muy útil para liberarnos de la culpa.
And then, like every other desire, it's healed through a miracle. You know,
Y
God has no desires.
porque Dios no tiene deseos y así podemos entregar los demás deseos.
You know, the Buddha said, nirvana is desirelessness.
Porque el Buda dijo, el nirvana es, no, en el nirvana no hay deseos.
So Jesus is now, he's saying, look, I'm going to show you where every desire is so that you
Y
can see
entonces
your
Jesús,
Yep.
entonces Jesús dice, yo te voy a mostrar dónde están los deseos.
He's going to show you how powerful you are to cease choosing that desire.
Y ver lo poderoso que eres al querer este deseo, escogerlo.
And then you're happy because happiness as given by God is desirelessness. How could it desire something when it is everything?
Y luego viene la felicidad porque la felicidad no es un deseo, simplemente es.
See, desire is the wanting of something, and that means it's other. See, it wants the experience of other.
Porque el deseo es un querer de un otro, porque hay el deseo de un otro.
So if there's only one, what could be wanted? Because everything's already there.
Sí, si todo es uno, ¿por qué vamos a querer algo más, un otro?
So we always come back to the point of for every time it comes back to those two things, follow.
Y siempre nos trae a lo mismo, estas dos cosas, seguir y seguir.
Show me Jesus, I'm determined to see. I'm willing to see.
Muéstrame Jesús, estoy determinado a ver.
And then accept that, get your miracle. Say, I am changing my mind about this. Don't tolerate stuff in your mind.
Y entonces lograr el milagro y no tolerar más esto.
It's just a relief, like the ego fights tooth and nail not to see that it's chosen experience.
Porque el ego no va a querer que veas que es una experiencia deseada.
But the level of relief cannot be expressed when it's recognized that it is a chosen experience and I can unchoose that.
Y que ver que es una experiencia deseada y que puedo elegir no desearla más, no quererla más.
And then there are no differences in the order of difficulty of miracles. See, you're unfazed by the world because you just know it's all the same.
Y darnos cuenta que no hay dificultad en los milagros porque todo es lo mismo.
And anything you need to know, Jesus is going to just tell you.
Y todo lo que necesites saber, Jesús te lo va a decir.
But it requires seeing that it's rage not following.
Pero requiere darnos cuenta que hay rabia cuando no queremos seguir.
It's self-punishment.
Que es autocastigo.
Oh, this is a good question. Who's that from? It popped up on there. Was that Keith? Who's that? We're coming.
Bueno, aquí hay una buena pregunta.
Keith, we're glad you're on. Love you.
Estamos agradecidos que estés aquí.
You just love these mighties, man. Okay, so anything else, Jesus? Oh, just love. He's just saying love. It's just, you are it.
Y hay mucho amor y porque eso eres. Amor.
You'll see that everything you say is for you because he's teaching you through your own mouth.
Y sabes que es para ti porque tú lo estás enseñando a través de tu boca diciéndolo.
See, it's not what you're saying, it's where it's coming from. It's coming out of the Holy of Holies.
No es lo que digas, sino de dónde viene.
And then it's just the celebration of love.
Y entonces luego es la celebración del amor.
So I want to come over here because I want to see that chat. I want to open this up for the blessed mighty companions.
Voy a abrir esto para preguntas de mis
It's the
mis
celebration to
compañeros.
ask questions of Jesus.
Es la celebración de hacerle preguntas a Jesús.
So, okay, so I think that was me. I don't seriously. Okay, so I think that's key. And he said, I don't mean this serious. Is it? I'm just going to read it. Trust in Jesus. I don't mean this seriously, but why can't we ask Jesus one time to transfer all my desires at once?
Entonces, ¿por qué no preguntarle a Jesús que de una vez se lleve como todos los deseos de una?
Okay, so Jesus, we have to understand Jesus's role in the atonement and our role in the atonement.
Bueno, entonces lo que tenemos que ver es el rol de Jesús en la expiación y nuestro rol en la expiación.
His function, our function is willingness. Jesus, I'm willing to see that I have these desires. I've chosen them.
Entonces, nuestro rol es estar dispuestos y decirle a Jesús que estar dispuesto a ver que hemos escogido esto.
And you can ask him, Jesus, do I at any time have the power to release all desires from my mind? Yes or no?
¿Tengo el poder, Jesús, de liberar todos los deseos de mi mente? ¿Sí o no?
You know, it's like Dorothy, click your heels in your home.
Y es como Dorothy que movía sus tacones y estaba en casa.
But there's a serious addiction going on to the experiences that arise out of those desires.
Pero hay una adicción tremenda a la experiencia de estos deseos.
And he knows it. He knows we're also, the play is to be terrified of God. So he's trying to do it gently.
Y entonces él lo está tratando de hacer como gentil, porque él sabe que estamos aterrorizados de Dios.
So the truth is, the deepest of the deep course lesson is Jesus points, and then we choose not to indulge in that anymore.
Entonces la verdad es que Jesús nos muestra y nosotros dejamos de admitir eso, de permitirlo.
So Jesus does neither gives nor withhold miracles. It's not his function.
Pardon, can you say again?
Jesus neither gives miracles nor withholds them.
Jesús necesita que no los tratemos de mantener.
He can only show us where we're choosing not to have them.
Él simplemente nos muestra dónde no estamos queriendo aceptar los milagros.
So he can merely point out, okay, here's where you're holding on to a desire and you're unwilling to release that to a miracle.
Y él nos muestra dónde no estamos dispuestos a liberar esto a un milagro.
He cannot release us from a desire because that would be, first of all, telling us we're powerless. And secondly, we wouldn't be taking responsibility for our mind, how powerful we are.
Porque él no los puede liberar por nosotros, porque sería como decirnos que somos débiles y que como segundo que no tomemos responsabilidad de nuestra mente.
And thirdly, he'd be making it real, which is the most important thing. He's not going to make anything real, but he knows there's some areas we think are real.
Y entonces, y la tercera es que lo haría real y él no hacer esto real, pero él sabe que nosotros de alguna manera creemos que sí es real.
So his function is to show us where we're deluded and trying to make the unreal real.
Y entonces la función de él es mostrarnos dónde nos estamos engañando y que dónde queremos hacer lo irreal real.
So thank you too, Keith. Love you. We're glad to have you.
Estamos agradecidos de tenerte, te amamos.
Isn't it spectacular? I mean, the Mighties can talk about it, and please share your experience in the Light Brigade, because it's so rocking to hear what the Mighties are saying in these light circles that come through from Jesus. Oh.
Es muy de mucha ayuda todo esto que los compañeros poderosos comparten en los círculos de luz.
It's practicing speaking what you hear and standing into that truth that you can hear that voice.
Y es practicar y escuchar y hablar lo que escuchas de esta voz.
It fulfills Jesus's promise that he speaks through your brother to you.
Y es completar la promesa de Jesús que Jesús nos habla a través del hermano.
It demonstrates you can be as clear on that voice as you choose to be.
y demostrarnos que podemos ser tan claros como nosotros queramos que esa voz sea declara.
It demonstrates the fulfillment of his promise that he will coach you directly.
Y es la demostración de que Él nos va a entrenar directamente.
He will lead you to see that everything he says in A Course in Miracles is true.
Y de que todo lo que Él dice en un curso de milagros es verdad.
We have to let him show us where we're addicted to desires. It's cocaine.
Necesitamos dejar que Él nos muestre dónde somos adictos a los deseos, porque es la cocaína.
It's a cocaine of consciousness, desires to have experiences that are not of God.
Es la cocaína de los deseos de negar a Dios.
So I asked him, Jesus, is consciousness an addiction? Is the tiny mad idea? Is that the tiny mad idea? Is that the addiction?
Entonces Jesús, la conciencia es esa pequeña locada idea, esa adicción a esa pequeña locada idea.
And when we're not following guidance, we're fighting them to try to say, no, consciousness is real. This is real.
Y cuando tratamos de no seguir, es decirle, no, mira, la conciencia es real, es real.
No, it's just keeping guilt and fear alive in the mind. When we don't follow, that's just so we can have more hell.
Y realmente eso es querer mantener la culpa y el infierno, más infierno, más infierno.
But the ego is going to say, oh, if you follow him, you're going to experience hell.
Pero luego va a decir, si tú lo sigues, vas a experimentar el infierno.
But that's why he says, when I give you an assignment, you follow it, do not judge it. See, that's the judgment comes in.
Entonces, por eso cuando él nos da una asignación es no la juzgues, no la juzgues.
Ask Jesus. So consciousness, its favorite thing to do, the favorite thing I like to do to torture myself is to tell myself I'm going to go to hell if I follow Jesus.
Una cosa que le encanta a la
Yes or no?
conciencia es decir que si sigo a Jesús es el infierno.
Yes or no?
¿Sí o no?
Everybody here's laughing. So, because you laugh when you start to see it's true.
Y entonces comienzas a reírte cuando te das cuenta que es verdad.
He's always right.
Él siempre está en lo correcto.
Well, when we finally admit that, that's happiness. He's right all along. And
pero cuando lo admites, es felicidad.
So that really started us on something. So thank you very much.
Entonces, gracias.
Want to ask anything?
¿Alguien más que quiera preguntar algo?
Let's go for God and ask him everything about rage. What do we want to know? What does inquiring minds want to know about rage?
¿Qué queremos saber de la rabia?
So I know there's maybe, let me see. Yeah, there's a bunch of people on this call and I don't know how to change that setting. Somehow we had a setting that is going to not show the videos of all the people that are on this that don't have their video on. But you know,
tenemos una configuración que no deja ver a todas las personas en el video.
But we know you're out there and we're glad you came and we'd like to
sabemos que estás ahí y estamos agradecidos que hayas venido.
It's a joy to see you. And if you have any questions, just I guess you might have to raise a hand so we know that you want to ask.
Parece que alguien ha levantado la mano.
And Jesus, just ask Jesus, Jesus, am I willing to talk to you and have you kind of help me out on this rage thing?
Simplemente preguntarle a Jesús, hablarle a Jesús y decirle, ¿tú me ayudas a salir de este rabia?
Rage is the timeline.
La rabia está en la línea del tiempo. Es la línea del tiempo.
It's death.
Es muerte.
Oh yeah, Jesus is saying, you know,
Keith has his hand up.
who does?
Keith,
Oh, Keith. Okay, Keith, I'm going to find you and ask you, see if you want to unmute. Hold on. Oh, here you are. Okay. Oh, yeah. So you're unmuted, Keith. So I think you can go ahead. Oh, I see your hand.
Estas, pues parece que puedes
So,
hablar.
are we saying that before we ask for the miracle, we ask if our desire is strong enough for the miracle?
Entonces, que antes de comenzar el milagro, tenemos que preguntar cuál es el deseo antes del milagro.
Well, what he taught me was to say, okay, Jesus, do I have this desire hidden below my level of awareness?
Entonces, lo que él me enseñó es que uno pregunta, ¿tengo este deseo por debajo del nivel de conciencia?
And then I would admit it. Yes, I do. Oh, I see it. Yeah.
Y
I see.
luego lo admito, sí.
And after a while, I could see that little devil dance, and it's like, man, I like this. I want this thing. I want
Y
this.
luego me comencé a ver el
Bueno.
diablillo que decía, en verdad, yo quiero esto.
I like this
I-
desire of control. I could
¿Cómo me encanta esto?
So our minds were always powerful enough to accept a miracle anytime. It's instantaneous and it dissolves. Desire.
Mira, nuestra mente es totalmente poderosa para aceptar el milagro instantáneamente.
But what I discovered, what he started showing me, which was very profound, is first he'd show me the miracle and then I would, okay, first he'd show me the relishing of it. He'd show me how much I wanted it. And it would get to the point where it's like, it felt like every cell wanted that experience, but that was the release. That was kind of the miracle, the release of that energy.
Y entonces cuando me mostró toda la energía que hay en el querer el milagro, fue como una liberación.
And so it would release, and I'm thinking, oh, I got a miracle and all this stuff. And then it was not so fast, grasshopper.
Y entonces, mira, ya obtuve el milagro en esto, y entonces no tan rápido.
He taught me to ask him, okay, so Jesus, did I fully release it to a miracle, or is there more to see?
Entonces tenía que preguntarle, ¿está totalmente cumplido este milagro o tengo algo más que ver?
Because I'm thinking, oh, I'm all done with this one. And
Y porque yo pensé que ya estaba hecho con, digamos, pero no, él dice,
so, and then he'd show me that next wave.
Y entonces él me mostró el siguiente nivel.
And so I'd keep going with him and riding. It was like waves of wanting, I just felt like every cell was fired by that wanting, and it would just dissipate.
Y entonces lo siento con cada una de las células, el deseo de esto, el querer de esto, y luego se libera.
The release of the subconscious content.
La liberación del contenido de la mente subconsciente.
But along the way, he taught me to ask him, Jesus, am I ready for a miracle?
Y entonces luego le preguntó, Jesús, ¿estoy lista para un milagro?
That was very illuminating, because what I realized is, yes, I think I'm willing, but there's some pretty deep unwillingness down there in the basement.
Eso fue muy revelador porque me muestra, yo pensé que sí estaba dispuesto, pero realmente en el subsótano había el deseo de no estar dispuesto.
So in the light circles, or just he showed me that's how in the subconscious mind, there's still a value. We don't get a miracle when we still value that desire more than we want to release it to a miracle.
Y entonces veo que este deseo se mantiene cuando aún hay, valoro más esto que la liberación a un milagro.
So that was helpful. So the honesty of God, because he could show me if I was delusional in any way about wanting to sneaky keep some little fragment of that desire that I felt there was heaven in it somehow.
De alguna manera me muestra cómo quiero mantener así sea una pequeña cosa una pequeñísima cosa de este deseo de fragmentación.
So if there's not an immediate release or immediate going into this relishing, you can be 100% sure that heaven and hell are flipped in the subconscious mind.
Y entonces, si no hay una liberación completa, es que de alguna manera está invertido el cielo y el infierno.
That there's a belief below the level of awareness that whatever that desire is, let's just say the desire to experience control.
Y porque hay una creencia digamos, el ejemplo del control.
You can start asking them, and we do it. We start going, okay, Jesus, what benefit do I think I'm getting out of this desire?
Y entonces tú comienzas a preguntarle, ¿qué beneficio gano de este deseo?
And it rewires your circuitry, because you'll see how, like, the desire for death, that down there in the subconscious mind, we think that's happiness.
Porque vemos entonces, por ejemplo, cómo el deseo de la muerte nos trae felicidad.
Or power or peace can be gotten from it. Somehow there's a belief that heaven can be gotten through that desire.
O poder, o paz, o creemos que podemos obtener el cielo a través de esto.
Or salvation.
O salvación.
So as long as that desire as long as there's a belief that there's that kind of value in it, we won't release it to a miracle.
Desde que aún haya valor en esto, no lo podemos liberar a un milagro.
So you can ask him, that's why this dialogue with him is so powerful and helpful.
Y por eso le puedes preguntar, por eso este diálogo con él es tan poderoso y tan útil.
It's Jesus, can I have a miracle for that? And you hear no.
Y cuando preguntamos, Jesús, ¿puedo tener un milagro por esto? Y nos dice no.
It's not that you can't have one, it's that you don't want one. There's
No
some
es que
part
no puedas tener uno, sino que no quieres tener un milagro.
that really thinks keeping this desire is going to bring you happiness. The
Que de
desire
alguna
for hell
manera
is that.
mantener estos deseos, el deseo del infierno es nuestra felicidad.
So then he'll coach you through that to release that belief that somehow this desire has some kind of value. Heaven and hell are flipped.
Entonces, ver cómo creemos que mantener este deseo es algo valioso y que tenemos invertido el cielo y el infierno.
And, and you just ask them, you have to see the truth that whatever you're desiring can never bring you what you thought it would.
Y tienes que ver en la verdad que nunca te va a traer lo que creías que te iba a traer.
And then once the desire for any desire other than the kingdom falls away, then you just sit with that relishing. You'll clear continents out with that. It's just pure miracle mindedness.
Y entonces así es la mente milagrosa. Cuando miramos todo el disfrute de estos deseos, a excepción del deseo de Dios y su reino.
Because you can do healing where you're healing up in the leaves, but he's going to take you down. Here's the root, and then you can just relish when you see it, if you're willing.
Cuando lo quieres ver y estás dispuesto, puedes ir profundamente a la raíz del deseo.
And I just say to him, okay, Jesus, you just start locking down all these things. You see how powerful you are. Just, Jesus, show me the whole thing. Will you take me all the way? And I could hear him say yes. And it's like, I'm in. I'm going all the way.
Y entonces le digo a Jesús, bueno, me puedes llevar todo el camino. Y entonces me siento y digo, listo, llévame todo el camino.
See, because then you start to see, oh my gosh, I'm fine. What's here is finite. happiness is infinite. I mean, you're infinite, and then the number of desires you have is finite. So you're going to
Entonces
work
tú
your way
eres
through 'em.
infinito. Tú eres infinito y a través de estos deseos te limitas. Entonces tú vas a querer encontrar la verdad.
You know, so the biggest challenge is getting to the point where we have that relationship where we trust him, and when he shows you you got a desire, it's like, I am not tolerating that in my mind. I'm getting my miracle. When your mind locks down on that, that's when the real healing can come.
La real sanación viene cuando confiamos en él y dejamos de tolerar el querer estos deseos.
It just, you know, I'm asking him because I've said I will just laugh with everyone like I thought, oh, I'm the poster child for the difficult child. But he just says that's how it plays. It just if you want a gentle awakening, he's going to give it to you, and you got to trust him at the rate of which he gives it to you. And you just, when he gives you something, you say, I am getting my miracle.
Y tomar cada cosa que Jesús nos dice y simplemente decir, ok, muéstrame y voy por mi milagro.
The greatest impediment to miracles is how undisciplined the mind is and how much we like weakness.
Y la dificultad en los milagros es lo poco entrenada que está la mente y lo mucho que nos creemos que somos débiles.
You know, and how much the play is to like helplessness. So this is really teaching how strong, how powerful we are. That's all this coaching is going to show. I'm powerful enough to say no to this stuff.
Y ver todo lo que queremos, la impotencia, y también darnos cuenta de lo poderosos que somos para decir no a esto.
So he's basically showing us where in the subconscious mind are we hanging on to something that we're unwilling to change our mind about.
Y entonces lo que nos muestra nuestra mente subconsciente donde tenemos que sorry, I lost the idea.
When there's something that we're unwilling to change our mind about, that's his job to show us.
En donde no estamos dispuestos a cambiar nuestra mentalidad. Ese es su trabajo, mostrarnos eso.
Try to get a little crack of light in there. You know, awakening's not difficult. It's the desire not to be awake.
El despertar no es difícil, es simplemente el deseo de no estar despierto.
You know, the desire to prove to God that happiness does not exist.
Probar que Dios, que la felicidad no existe.
The joy of God, essentially, the joy of God does not exist.
Que el gozo de Dios no existe.
See, the ego uses the word pleasure the same as happiness, which is not the same as what what God gave us.
Porque el ego usa el placer como felicidad, pero eso no es, porque es lo que viene de Dios.
So yeah, he's just saying, look, you get that dialogue going with him, he'll coach on everything and show you where you don't want a miracle, show you where you relish weakness, powerlessness.
Entonces, es dejarte entrenar por él y que él te muestre dónde estás escogiendo la debilidad, donde no quieres milagros, todo un entrenamiento directamente con él.
Well, once you lock down and you say, look, I'm going to see this no matter what, you know, you get that I'm determined to see lockdown.
Y es estar determinado a ver.
When you see what it means to follow, how infinitely valued, that's a celebration of all that you are to follow, you know, and the ego's going, oh, don't be doing that.
Porque el seguir es la celebración de todo lo que somos. Y el ego va a decir, no, no, no.
You know, once we're willing to see what it means not to follow, hell on a stick. So you say yes to that last unanswered question. See, that's when the real healing, when you say, am I willing to see what I've denied because it's true? Am I willing to see this? All of it.
Y entonces, porque esto es contestar la última pregunta no contestada, estoy dispuesto a ver, o sea, totalmente dispuesto a ver lo que he negado porque es la verdad.
Then it still can take time, but you're being coached by the one that's going to take you there as fast as helpful, I would say.
Porque es útil ser entrenado por la mejor
Yeah.
ayuda.
You know, like I said to him, Jesus, can't we hurry this up? How are we going to hurry this up?
Porque algunas veces vas a decir, ¿podemos apresurar esto?
Well, first of all, I didn't see all the desires in my subconscious mind not to make it faster.
Pero todos
We
tus
think we are.
deseos es lo que tengo es para que no sea rápido.
But, you know, his answer to that was, you cannot hurry up what never happened.
Y entonces lo que él me dijo fue, no puedes apresurar algo que nunca pasó.
That was humbling.
Eso fue muy humilde.
You see, the ego wants to get involved in hurrying it up. The ego-
Porque el ego quiere involucrarse y tratar de hacer que esto sea más rápido.
so it's very humbling.
Esto es muy humilde.
But it is complete Christ control. You got to give it all over to him, every scrap of it, really.
Y entonces entregarle todo el control al Cristo.
Obviously, we don't have to give it over. Like he said, it's the curriculum is the curriculum, and the time we take.
Porque el currículum es el currículum, pero el tema es el tiempo cuando tú decidas hacerlo.
But then once it's the lockdown, I'm getting this every bit of curriculum he's going to give me. Then the real healing's there. You know, then you
Y
get
entonces como que le entregas todo el currículo a él y dejas que la salvación ocurra.
So it's the healing's not difficult. It's the no to God that creates all the problem.
La
Addiction.
La adicción a decir no a Dios es
Relishing
difícil, no el currículum.
Like relishing that rage, you know.
Como disfrutar esta rabia.
And he's telling me, you know, wanting to read the course rather than talk to him directly. He'll tell you what every line in that course means if it's helpful for your mind.
Y entonces él te puede entrenar directamente y mostrarte qué quieres decir con cada línea del curso.
But he's saying, stop talking about the course and get in join and follow my instructions to join with your brother and start looking with me to see where you don't want the truth, where you don't want miracles.
Y dice como que no sigamos viendo el curso, sino pues, sigue conmigo de tal manera que yo te muestre donde no quieres los milagros.
To really learn where you're not following guidance, which is keeping that rage.
Que te muestre dónde no estás siguiendo la guía para mantener la rabia.
Does that feel clear? Any other questions?
¿Eso se siente claro? ¿Hay alguna pregunta adicional?
Thank you.
Gracias.
I think we're going to gear up from a song from Lori. Jesus has been giving her some serious downloads.
Michael has his hand up too.
Oh, Michael does. Okay. Thank you for moderating, Renee. This is helpful. Okay, Michael, thank you for asking. Oh, we have Michael and okay. Yes. Hi, Michael.
Hi.
Tenemos a
Hello.
Michael.
Okay. First off, it took me a while to understand what you meant by desire. So the final desire, if I understood you correctly, is the desire for the kingdom.
Yes.
And then once the kingdom is recognized, there's no longer desire. So would you say it's the natural tendency within the kingdom for the extension of love? In other words, it's an innate part of love to extend itself. Is that what you're saying?
Entonces está diciendo que si que no le costó un poco entender el tema de los deseos, pero que entonces que si el deseo final es el deseo por Dios y su reino, entonces no sé, se me perdió el resto.
So extension, it's
No complete.
oh, Mas, Maria.
No, okay.
is there more that needed to be translated, Lena? Or it got cut off, what? Lena's saying something with the translation.
Sí, es que Lina, ¿me puedes decir qué fue la última parte que dijo el señor?
Es que no sé.
No sé, pensé que estabas usando el traductor. Ok, no, lo perdí, déjalo así para no ponerlo a repetir.
Okay.
I could give you
Okay.
an example. I'll give you an example. When I immerse, I call this immersion in God. It's like the Song of Prayer in the pamphlet, the Song of Prayer. When I immerse in God, I feel this energy just expanding out from within outwardly in all directions. And if I would like to know your understanding, is that an innate part of being the love, of recognizing and just being the love we are?
Entonces, dice que va a dar un ejemplo que cuando él estudió el panfleto de la escalera de la oración, entonces él sintió esa expansión de ser totalmente el amor.
Well, my experience is that it's different, certainly, than any idea I ever had about what extension is.
Mi experiencia es totalmente diferente a lo que yo pensé que era el extender.
And the same thing, the word creation as well. It's very different. That love, it's all synonymous. It's all sameness, you know?
Incluso también de la palabra creación, porque todo es lo mismo, son sinónimos.
See, our identity is extension. It's just what it is. It's love. Our true identity just is. We're love, and love is that. It's just it's expression of being unlimited, without limit, on and on, unending celebration.
Entonces está explicando lo que es esta expansión, es simplemente ser lo que es, sin comienzos, sin finales, sin ninguna limitación.
It's just joy and communication with itself, which is extension by its nature.
Yeah.
Porque es como es una comunión con lo que somos y una extensión de eso.
So it's like the whole perception is that it's beyond perception.
Porque esto es más allá de la percepción.
So it's beyond perception. I mean, you can get it. I'm talking to Jesus about it. He's the authority.
Y entonces le estoy preguntando a Jesús porque él es la autoridad.
In the holy instant, you can get that sense that it's the holy instant, because we'll only allow ourselves an instant to see our identity.
Entonces, en el instante santo podemos sentir esa plenitud, porque pareciera que nos permitimos solo sentir esa plenitud en un instante santo.
But if you, within the holy instant, that recognition of that inner light that lights everyone that's born, it's can be seen that it's limitless.
Y ver en este instante santo que esta luz es esa luz que no tiene un origen, un nacimiento, y que no tiene límites.
But seeing that it's like, it can be seen as innocent, it can be seen as infinite and unborn and unchanging.
Que lo podemos ver como algo que no tiene límites, que no ha nacido y que no cambia.
But the creation nature of it, the creation nature, the true nature of creation, and the true nature of extension when the mind's just purified, because in the purification, there's no longer a denial. And so the holy instant, you can get like a little jolt of joy or happiness from that recognition. But just the happiness, the beyond this world happiness is from the purified mind.
Porque después del proceso de purificación vamos a estar como en esta plenitud de esta mente totalmente purificada.
Because I would contemplate light a lot and get these hits and got a lot of revelatory experiences from that, you know, that I'm not a body. A lot of revelation comes from that.
Y porque yo acostumbraba a deleitarme en la luz y tener todas estas experiencias revelatorias como que no soy un cuerpo.
But I kept going, Jesus, where is that supreme happiness you promised me? I
Y
can,
luego iba con Jesús y le decía, ¿dónde está esa suprema felicidad que me dices?
well, it's buried under like tons of desire not to be holiness.
Y entonces veía que estaba enterrada bajo toneladas de deseos de no ser santo.
So in the state of miracle mindedness, I have to have, you know, in the state of miracle mindedness, its natural state is extension.
Porque en la mentalidad milagrosa el estado es de total expansión.
Yeah, somehow, you know, it seems like miracles are in time, but they're timeless. You know,
Pero
you're in the
parece que los milagros
timeless
son,
nature of the miracle.
parece que los milagros ocurrían en el tiempo, pero realmente están por fuera del tiempo.
And and he's saying that's extension.
Y él me
But-
dice que eso es extensión.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Now I understand what you meant by desire, including the final desire. And now I understand how you define extension. And it seems like we're on the same page. I just wanted to make sure that I understood your perspective.
Oh,
So
that's
thank you very much.
Entonces,
Thank you.
entonces lo
Yeah.
que estaba haciendo era mirando qué era lo que tú entendías por deseos y qué era lo que entendía por expansión. Pero parece que estamos en la misma página, y así que gracias.
Yeah, the desires of these really strong the wanting of something, although within perception, it's not always, it takes some looking to see that there's a wanting going on there. It doesn't seem like I want something, you know, we're so used to it.
El deseo es ese querer de algo
It's tricky.
y es algo como muy engañoso.
The ego is tricky little beast. It's a beast.
Porque el ego es una bestia triquiñueluda.
Let's not indulge in that anymore.
Y no seamos indulgentes en eso, no
But you-
permitamos eso.
You can see how valuable it is, that contemplation on light. It's very valuable.
Y ver lo valioso que es contemplar en la luz.
But it will not be a consistent experience without the release of the desires fully.
Pero no hay una experiencia de plenitud completa si no se liberan los deseos.
I'm asking Jesus about, you can't be in full extension without full release of the desires. Desirelessness, that's supreme happiness.
Entonces, le estoy preguntando a Jesús si no podemos estar en una completa extensión hasta que no hayamos liberado todos estos deseos.
So the happy news is if we're not in a state of supreme happiness, there's just more for us to see, which is happiness, knowing that.
Y entonces, si no estamos en un estado de felicidad, es porque hay algo más que aún tenemos que ver.
So yeah, thanks for asking that. So good. I love it.
Gracias por preguntar.
You know, it's so holy to be with brothers that are so dedicated to see the truth.
Es muy santo estar con compañeros que están tan dedicados a la verdad.
Yeah. Oh, that's beautiful, Michael. Go for God.
Así, muy hermoso, Michael. Vamos por Dios.
Rock our world, Michael. So Michael just text me that I just got
Okay.
a flash. You want to say it, Michael? Go for this flash.
Okay. As you were speaking, I heard in my head, desire, as you defined it, blocks extension. This is so simple. 3 words. Desire blocks extension. And it makes it so simple.
Entonces, lo hace muy simple cuando pones que los deseos bloquean la expansión, la extensión.
You can just feel your little rocket hat on.
Entonces puedes mirar el
Like you're
cohete
taking-
aquí.
And we're all going together with that little rocket. Everybody put your little rocket up hat on, man. That's
Y
grok
con
that
ese-
one. Let
ese
that one
sombrerito.
grok. Let that sink in what Michael just said. Your hair will go back.
Y así tu pelo estará hacia atrás.
That's right. Desires like that. Yeah. Mhm, mhm. hell on a stick. And we fight him over the miracle on a desire. That's what's hilarious. And we need him to tell us where we're fighting.
Y entonces peleamos por los milagros, para no aceptar los milagros, y luego necesitamos que Él nos muestre dónde estamos peleando.
Thank you. This is so fun. Isn't this fun? See?
Gracias, esto es muy divertido.
It's happy laughter when you see it. You just go, how silly we've been for so long.
Ver lo tonto que es esto.
The goofballs of consciousness. Okay, so Keith, do you have more questions, or that was just your hand, residual hand, or that's your hand up for God?
I do have another question.
Okay, go for
Creo que
God.
tengo otra pregunta.
Take
But
us all home.
But I'm very nervous about asking it because I'm going to say something that is, I'm going to use a word that's blasphemous to the course. And that is, it sounds to me like desire has to be at a certain state. In other words, it's conditional before we can have a miracle. The desire has to be at a certain state. It could be not enough, it could be enough. Before we pass the litmus test.
Es como, estoy viendo que siento que de pronto estos deseos es como un paso adicional, un pequeño paso adicional que se está creando para admitir el milagro.
I might put it a little bit like we're deciding not to say no to a desire deep in our subconscious mind. We like, it's a toy. It's what, you know how Jesus said that scissors we like to run with?
Recuerdan que Jesús nos dice que las tijeras con las que andamos corriendo, entonces es como el deseo de no querer ver que hay deseos, algo así.
And you know how Gollum in Lord of the Rings was running around going, oh, precious, like that.
Y ver que el Gollum de El Señor de los Anillos como andaba y decía, mi precioso.
So it's just helpful to be shown by Jesus down in the subconscious mind. We're going, this world's horrible, or these are bad things are happening, or, you know, death is terrible and all that stuff. We go down there and you see that it's a wanting of the experience because we think it's precious.
Pero entonces ir con Jesús y que nos muestre, por ejemplo, la muerte y todo esto, y sentir y saber que realmente la apreciamos.
And it was profound for me. You know, I kept looking at pain. I was determined. It's like, I'm going to look at this pain with Jesus. I don't care what it takes. And my head would be splitting, hurting.
Y ver, por ejemplo, que me dolía la cabeza y simplemente quería mantenerme viendo.
But once I could hear him well enough I would let him show me how not to stay with the pain, but to go to the wanting of the pain, to see that it's wanted as experience.
Y ver que no es que me gusta el dolor, sino que deseo lo que me da el dolor, como el deseo del dolor.
That I wanted to have an experience of pain. And when I release that, that's the miracle. No longer wanting the pain, it can't arise in consciousness anymore because I no longer want it.
Pero entonces cuando dejas ya de querer ese deseo, ya no aparece más en la conciencia.
So that the release of the wanting is the accepting of the miracle. So we have to accept the miracle, the changing our mind.
Y entonces el liberar el gusto por esto es lo que hace que el milagro pueda ocurrir.
That a desire has value. The desire for experience.
Que el deseo tiene valor, el deseo de la experiencia.
And that's it. We're changing our mind, which is acceptance of the miracle.
Porque esa es la aceptación del milagro.
Jesus, am I willing to see that this desire for this experience no longer has value?
Estoy dispuesto a ver que este deseo no tiene más valor para mí.
So what he's teaching us is that we have the power given by God, and he says it. I'm asking if he says in the course. I just remember reading it in the text.
No sé si lo dice en el curso, lo leí en el Urtext.
And it just caught my attention because it says you will demand it.
Y me llamó mi atención porque decía, tú lo demandarás, tú lo pedirás.
You will demand to release yourself from this.
Tú demandarás ser liberado a ti mismo de esto.
And it's at your command. And then we see that we chose to have the desired experience, and then we can choose not to have that anymore. And that's acceptance of the miracle. So the miracle's always at our beck and call if we're willing to accept it.
Porque los milagros se dan si nosotros los aceptamos.
So he can only show us where we don't want one.
Él solo nos puede mostrar donde no queremos.
Where there's still a little golem going down. This is a really good deal down here. And up here we're going, God, this headache is horrible. And then he shows me, oh my gosh, I'm generating that sucker.
Entonces, ver que arriba dice, no, esto es horrible, pero en lo profundo ver, me encanta esto.
You can start to perceive how it's like, it's something that's trying to be pushed out there. So it's out there, it's my toe, or it's my leg, or it's my head. Now it's my toe, or it's something out there. And it was hilarious. I was working on a headache, and Jesus said, you think you have a head.
Y me acuerdo que yo estaba trabajando con Jesús en mis dolores de cabeza y me dijo, ¿tú crees que tienes cabeza?
He definitely, 100%. Everyone's having that experience. He knows where your funny bone is, for sure.
Porque sabemos 100% que él sabe dónde están los huesos enterrados.
It's completely within our power to see that we're the ones choosing an experience of relishing that experience of pain. Now that is humbling. That's so humbling.
Y ver cómo nosotros estamos escogiendo esta experiencia.
So that's the whole fight. The whole fight is not to see that we're choosing the whole thing.
Y toda la pelea es no querer ver que nosotros estamos escogiendo esto.
That we're choosing it. Woohoo!
Que lo estamos escogiendo.
But then you got the keys to the gate because you say, I'm powerful enough not to choose that anymore. That's all he's trying to say. You have the power given by God.
Y todo eso es lo que nos quiere mostrar, que tenemos todo el poder dado por Dios y que tenemos las llaves de salida.
So he's saying, grab the brass ring. Go for it. Claim it back.
Clámalo.
Like Moji would say, take your stand. You take your stand in divinity.
Es como mantén tu posición en la divinidad.
But this is what we want. We want to stand in divinity and stretch our toe out to hang it on the dock. Instead of getting full in the boat with God, we like to keep some part of the world, and have your toe curled over the end of the dock. It doesn't work.
Porque es que estamos tratando de tener un pie en el bote y otro pie en...
Supreme happiness is desirelessness. Therefore, release of desires is a unification of consciousness. That's accepting miracles in every case, no exceptions.
Y que no hay excepción porque en Dios no hay deseos.
We're going for God.
Así que vamos por Dios.
No exceptions.
Sin excepciones.
Okay, yeah, everybody's got their rocket hat on. So, hey, I think there's a movie marathon coming up. I'm hearing it.
Estoy escuchando que parece que viene una maratón de películas.
Okay, you don't know what a movie marathon is over a series of weeks, or however he tells me to do it. But usually it's a series of weeks that we watch a movie, and then during the week we join in the sessions to release the desires that are shown in the movie. Very cool.
Y entonces es muy hermoso porque entonces vemos las películas y luego miramos los deseos que surgen de las películas para ser liberados.
So very cool. So now we're going to have a song. We know the name and we have the words. Mary's going to put the words in the Joining in Light in the Jesus a New Covenant Messenger group. If you're not in there yet, just text us or something. Or there's an application, but it's not a big deal. It's just so we can make sure we know who you are from your Facebook page. We have the right one of you, since there can be 50, with the same name. Then we'll add you to the group. And then she puts the words out. Okay, sorry. Go ahead, Maria. Translate. Love you, Maria. Did we lose her? Oh, no, Maria.
Okay, I'm here.
Oh.
Okay. Entonces tenemos una canción que y la letra se ha puesto en el grupo de Messenger y también en la app y no sé si en el WhatsApp. ¿Está en el WhatsApp?
Sí,
También está en el WhatsApp.
Sí.
Entonces,
So she's just adding that those who speak Spanish, there's a WhatsApp group.
y entonces está adicionando a los que hablan español al grupo de WhatsApp.
So in the Messenger group, in the WhatsApp group, you can find joining partners when you feel in a twitch or Jesus is telling you, look for a desire. You'll have someone that knows that Joining in Light worksheet that will know how to jump on with you and, go for God and uncover any place you don't want a miracle.
Entonces, con la hoja de trabajo, ustedes se pueden unir en cualquier momento y pedir un compañero en los grupos de WhatsApp o en los Messenger.
So you can jump in there and get yourself your miracle.
Y así que te puedes lanzar a eso y ir por tu milagro.
Okay, now I'm going to do technical things here and switch over.
Y entonces voy a hacer
Switch
unas
cameras.
cosas aquí técnicas. Entonces vamos a...
Put some light. Okay, what I have to do something else here. I'm trying to think. Oh, I have to change mics. Okay. Oh, we've been on Yeti all along. So, and it's been turned away. I hope you guys have been able to hear me on microphone. Oh my gosh. Okay.
Thank you, Jesus, for this love letter song called Miracle Mindedness.
Entonces, gracias Jesús por esta canción que se llama Mente Milagrosa.
Celebration of all that is. Holy communion, unspeakable joy. Celebration of all that is. Peace to all seeking hearts. The light has come. Blinded by the world, yet you have eyes to see the love. Open to look upon a blooming garden of light. Water falling from the mountains, sparkling, listening. Holy Spirit, fulfilling the deepest calls of the heart.
Los amamos. Thank you. Beautiful.
Wow. Whoa. Let me switch back over. Yes, that is the first time Lori has actually played that for anyone, for us here too. So you got to hear it.
Esta es la primera vez que Lori nos canta esta canción aquí.
She's Do you need to see Jesus over there?
Oh, no,
She's
just
putting
thank you,
Jesus
Jesus. Thank you, Jesus.
Thank you, Lori.
And a special hi to my sister Jeannie. I think she's still on. Hi, Jeannie. Love you.
Oh, Jeannie. Hi, Jeannie. Well, let me put her back on camera so you can say hi.
Love you,
Okay.
Jean. Miss you.
Love you,
Te
Jean. Glad
amo,
you're here.
Jeannie.
She's lighting us up here. Thank you, beloveds, for coming. Jump a
Gracias, amados, por
join.
venir.
Jump those joins. Get your miracles. Thank you, Jesus.
Únanse y pidan
Beautiful.
sus
Thank
milagros.
you.
Gracias.